bill. And then, of course, she said it did, and she was, of course, pretending that they did it, but they did it. And that's...
Oh, and now a cult leader, the thing I've been talking about for a while, now the news is saying it. Notice? Now it's a problem suddenly. So that's all part of this. And just to be clear, they will never disclose what they did. If they ever disclose what they did, even the losers in this country might pull their heads out of their ass and do something about it because it's that evil. Remember the Satanic Panic? That was part of this, okay? To cover over very real, very dark crimes that they still do. Don't forget the Wayfair kids and all those illegal immigrant children that are still missing, about 300,000.
For what?
Yeah, where are they? Well, our leaders have a 22,000 child a day habit. Let's put it that way.
So here, want me to play that video you sent me?
It's all bullshit.
Oh, this is where, because Tom, he didn't like to speculate, but as you know, I love to speculate.
So Tom, the guy who was just testifying, and he wrote that book, Chaos, he was there?
Yeah, this is his first testimony at Skankfest with Fitzdog and me and Duncan.
Okay, let's listen.
Ted Kaczynski, for those of you who don't know, when he got a scholarship to Harvard when he was 16, and in Harvard he underwent these horrific experiments.
They didn't show that in Doogie Howser.
No. Doogie Howser was MK Ultra.
Well, how would you become a 16-year-old fucking doctor?
It's true.
I gotta do 20 years of research, you know that? They should have me at that testimony.
Yeah.
I'd bust the whole thing out.
All right, so you're not in control. And the people in control are the most evil MFers you can ever imagine.
You don't get to meet them. They're behind the scenes. The people that you see in control, think of them killing JFK and taking over the whole country. Everybody rolled over for it.
Which they did. JFK, by the way, it was like 3 days. Hang on, I have a direct quote from him. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
He said this 3 days before he was killed. Hang on, I'm going to find it.
Is this a secret society thing?
He said, "There's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot." 7 days later, he was assassinated.
So it's even bigger than some with Israel, because the plot 100% is to do that. And they've been doing it very effectively and very slowly. It's a generational project. So all the nonsense you see around you and all the things that made no sense, these are all tests to see if they got us where they want us.
Yeah, like us thinking that the 3 buildings fell down because 2 planes went into them. 2 buildings that were designed to withstand planes going into them.
I didn't even know 3 buildings went down until about a year and a half ago, and I was living in New York when it happened. That's really weird.
Yeah. So Seth Rich, the whole COVID thing, the whole Russiagate thing, the whole Syria thing, the whole Iraq war. The whole everything.
Your parents who watch Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or either side of the aisle news that babble nonsense to you when you talk to them,
Hi. Yeah, Clash just sent over a couple articles. I know they were all jumping in. I'm so sick of trying to explain unexplained. So what would that have to do with serial killers and Doogie Howser, MK Ultra, is what they're asking. Good question. What would that have to do with those kind of serial killers that seem to be closely watched? Manson was kept in prison for years, wrote a book. Seemed like certain experts like to go and talk to him, like Hannibal Lecter type stuff. Why? Right, so that why and why they would keep such a horrific serial killer alive in prison and let them write a book and interview them and go in and have discussions with them. Why? Hannibal, why? Silence. Silence of the little lambs. Shh. Poppies. So yeah, what would the MK Ultra stuff have to do with serial killers? And they mentioned a 16-year-old doctor, Doogie Howser. Interesting. And there must be some kind of understanding there. See, they grasp at least some of it. So what would they be trying to hide in those records? What would they be getting rid of? That they were manipulating people to murder people? That they were studying people who had been manipulated by others to murder people? Bingo, that's a big bingo. Can you expound on that? Because I think a lot of people miss that part. Yeah, I think a lot of people within the government and systems and experts were, yeah, kind of like the 9/11 theories about goons getting young-minded drug addicts or autistic people to fly into the towers. Well, there has to be a cause for all the noise. What caused it? Yeah, I know, it was a fire, explosion, the buildings crumbled, but what caused it? I mean, it looks that way, yeah. And I mean, even to make it look that way and to understand that. Right, so back in those days with the MK Ultra stuff and Bundy, Manson, 16-year-old doctors. Right, so they probably wanted to study those people who had been manipulated by others. Who are those others? I know, they never really get any smacks on the wrist, do they? A lot of them get away with it. Live very luxury lives, patted on the back, praised for all their good deeds, supplying drugs, protecting the streets. Okay. And I think they get lost. I think some people think it's still like 1963. And they get a little lost. You know, they've invented microwaves. Do you know what a microwave is? I like the air fryer myself. You can bake a small potato in 22 minutes. Even a medium-sized one. It depends on the grade. Sweet potatoes take a little bit longer. Or is that the other way around? Oh, there you go. Right, so yeah, they were probably studying these people that had been manipulated by others. And also, I mean, some of them seem to have an intrinsic value. I can't quite put my finger on it, but what is that? You know, it's electric. It's electric. Radio waves, brain waves. Change the channel. Clear the static. So what were they covering up? Not that they were manipulating people. They were studying these people, and I mean, they couldn't really do too much about... I mean, sometimes they might take care of business under the radar because they know, but they know it can't be proven in court, so... Was that a ghost? Back in those days, they didn't have drones, right? I mean, drone didn't really come into the picture, right? A UFO, an orb of light. That was your great-great-grandfather probably telling you. Think about what you're doing, Johnny. What are you doing, Johnny? Put down the gun, Johnny. You don't want to deal those drugs to the kids, do you, Johnny? Shh, shh. Where's that voice coming from, Johnny? Shh, Johnny. Johnny, we know what you did last summer, Johnny. Shh. Right, so, I mean, these things are really easily understood. Anybody want to hit that level of the conversation, or are you scared? Do you not know? You are the sun, little darling. You are the sun. And I said, it's alright.
It's almost a hack joke now.
Yeah.
That's the programming. They're putting it. The boomers, they got them from birth right after the greatest generation. That was their. Very slowly, it's a generational project. Well, how would you become a 16-year-old fucking doctor?
It's true.
I gotta do 20 years of research.
You know that.
They should have me at that testimony.
Yeah.
I'd bust the whole thing out.
All right, so you're not in control. And the people in control are the most evil MFers you can ever imagine.
You don't get to meet them. They're behind the scenes. The people.
There are evil people in this world. Some are in our homes. Some are in our schools. Some are in our healthcare facilities. People on the street. People on the street. Under pressure. Going down on me. What do you know about pressure? Is that the same as velocity? Not even close. A certain amount of pressure can build up. Or you see the pressure gauge? Okay, so that might tell you how much velocity you're going to get. Do you know how to read the gauge? It's not like a tire gauge. I know, isn't that neat, the cars today? It puts it right on the dashboard. It tells you how much air pressure is in your tire. I don't know if I trust that thing. I know, or we always had the little handheld things if the tires felt off. You pulled over, you got out, you went around to each tire with the little pressure gauge. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop at the store and put air in. Some had free air, Other places you had to put in a few quarters. Oh, $1.25, what the fuck? Have you seen the price of air? This is ridiculous. I'm getting a hoss and buggy. Fuck that. Right, because I mean, if something happens to the buggy, you still got the horse, right? I mean, the buggy's not too much good without the horse, though. You can lose the buggy and still get to where you need to go if you have the horse. But if the horse breaks a leg, the buggy's not going nowhere unless you pull it. So you might as well just walk. Why carry all that extra weight if you don't have to? But yeah, there are evil people, for sure, in charge in different places, making decisions. So the big concern here in America, if you guys haven't noticed, the state workers and some of the governors that did some fucked up shit. Maybe they were part of investigations and it needed to be ignored. And those fear propaganda bullshit stuff needed to be perpetuated. Did they have a choice? Oh, remember in 2010, 2009? I know, and think of all these adults that are, in their 20s now, totally fucking psychotic. They don't understand basic street laws. I'm not saying all of them. It seems certain areas, yeah? Where we've pointed out those specific state workers and governors making decisions based off of fear propaganda and childish beliefs, and that's really scary to us. How's your COVID? Why did they call it Corona for a hot second? Remember, it was Corona? And then I haven't heard Corona for a while. COVID. Put the lime in the coconut. Which other part did you want us to touch base on?
That you see in control. Think of them killing JFK and taking over the whole country.
Okay.
Everybody
Which
rolled
they
over
did.
for it.
Which they did. JFK, by the way, it was like 3 days. Hang on, let me. He said this 3 days before he was killed. Hang on, I'm going to find it.
Is this a secret society thing?
He said, "There's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot." 7 days later, he was assassinated.
So it's even bigger than some with Israel because the plot.
Okay, so they sent over an article regarding, I'm not going to do really much explaining, I'm just going to say in regards to what they were just talking about with JFK and the slavery thing. So in the 60s, there was quite a debate regarding child farm labor in New England. And you notice this land is your land kind of leaves out New England. This land is your land. From California to the New York Valley, Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. No New England is in that song. Right, so back in the 60s, there was a big debate regarding child farm labor up here in New England, centered on the agricultural exemptions in the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, which allowed children as young as 12 to work unlimited hours outside of school. Reformers and activists heavily debated the ethics of using local students for grueling harvests versus the vulnerability and exploitation of migrant youth. Probably why, like the I-95, a lot of the mule and trafficking coming up from the south in Mexico was coming up here to New England, working on the farms. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of the white kids work the farms too, yeah? Yes, they did. In fact, I think more so. I mean, there was probably different levels of work, yeah? I mean, there was probably more grueling work than farm work, yeah? Digging trenches, clearing forests, stuff like that. I'm sure. There's a lot of different stuff. So there was tobacco fields, yeah, the tobacco fields in Connecticut. Connecticut's Tobacco Valley. Working on shea tobacco farms was an incredibly common summer job for thousands of New England teenagers and local children. While some community members and local politicians, New England Historical Society framed the work as character building and an opportunity to earn money. Public concerns were raised about long hours and extreme heat, exposure to pesticides, and the physical toll. So here we go with the sides. Yes, we agree. It is good for character building. An opportunity to earn money right, you get exercise, you're keeping your hands busy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we agree with that. What were the concerns? The long hours, not getting any breaks, kids being whipped. I mean, I remember in the 90s, there was some pretty mean ones still on some of those farms, from blueberry farms and stuff. I remember a white boy that got beat up pretty bad, looking at the farmer's wife. He made a rude comment to her, too, I think. He beat his ass with a fucking chain. Bad. His face was all swollen, couldn't even recognize him. No, didn't get in trouble for that, of course not. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. Did anything ever come out of that? I don't think, it was even ever reported or anything, huh? Yeah, anyways, Maine potato harvest. In Aroostook County, schools routinely closed for a multi-week harvest. Yeah, if you go back and then you'll see when child labor laws and when they made age limits, and then they allowed for some to get work permits if they lived on a farm. You know, there were exceptions where it's like, dude, this is what they want to. You know, they enjoy it. We don't beat our kids. They like doing it. They enjoy it. They feel like they're part of the putting food on the table and feeding others in the community. It makes them feel good. Don't take that from them. Well, we're just concerned about the ones working long hours. So yeah, but it's not fair to the ones that aren't being beaten and worked long hours. We have a variety here. They do math, science, learn how to cook. So, it's your problem. Did they even have TVs back then? Some had radios. I think some had radios. Right, so they had the laws when they were putting all that in place where you could get a permit down to a certain age, but you had to have breaks legally. You have to have so many breaks within. Right, and then insurance. Some places started to be required to have insurance, which pissed a lot of them off. Yeah, couldn't afford the insurance. Maine's potato harvest. In Aroostook County, schools routinely closed for multi-week harvest recess to allow local children to hand-pick potatoes. Documented debates in the press during this era show different opinions. Farming Life on Facebook page. Critics and reformists argued the practice pulled children away from important education and risked their physical well-being, while farmers and participating students defended the work as an important voluntary cultural tradition and a reliable way to make money. Nationally, the broader context of the 1960s saw poverty warriors, they were known as poverty warriors, and reformers shifting their focus toward providing formal job programs for poor use rather than aggressively fighting agricultural child labor. If you can't beat them, try to join them and make it safe, at least, right? Or something. Not as grueling. Right. Yeah, sure. I mean, and again, for some it wasn't. Now, what are you talking about? It's grueling at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's, different too. Just here in the state of Maine, you're going up in Aroostook County where potatoes and stuff, and then here in central Maine, I know growing up, it was, blueberries, strawberries, potatoes, all that stuff too, yeah. Quite a bit of stuff, right? Berries, burdock. Burdock root was actually quite popular for a while. Yeah, they use it in cleansing drinks. The burdock root and teas helps to cleanse the organs and stuff. I think specifically is it certain ones, yeah. Yeah, it's good to flush toxins out of the body. Burdock root. They're like those little spiky things. And I can remember sometimes walking through the woods and come back just pant legs covered in those things, clumps of them. Oh, and your socks. Oh, man. And the hair. Oh, what a bitch those things were to get out. Yeah, I had to cut chunks of my hair out one time from burdocks getting snagged in them. Yeah, so there's a few more articles there too aside from that one. Let's see, American Social Policy, 1960s and 70s. Remembering America's Child Labor Crisis. History of Child Labor in the United States. This would be a really great education for school, yeah? The children of America to learn about. Yep, and the activists will jump in. We're not teaching them about those mean, angry white supremacists. It's just, there's no argument. There's no basis to it. It's stupid. It's fucking sick, disgusting, and disturbing, and I'm not sure how it's gone on this long. Anyways. Yeah, right? Yeah, hopefully.
Susan Collins supported
I don't know. Is storytelling become a private affair as well? You gotta pay to have story time? Well, I mean, you can talk amongst yourselves. We're talking about the public systems. We're not talking about story time either. I mean, you can call it story time if you want. Yes, I hope so. Yeah, again, let us know. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, we're right here.
Story out of Arkansas about a 15-year-old boy who was chased into the woods by a cop with a very checkered past. The boy was able to get away from the officer in the dark and then call his parents to come get him. His parents instructed him to stop running, and he agreed to start walking back towards the blue lights. But this would be the last time his parents would speak to him alive. The next time they see him, he is hanging by his neck in a tree almost 2 miles away. The community quickly put blame on the deputy that chased him and point to 49 minutes of missing body cam footage that does coincide with the time the teenager was supposedly walking back towards the blue lights to turn himself in. His death is quickly ruled a suicide by officials, but certain things don't quite line up or make sense, and the state police investigation into the death was lazy at best. And when I saw all this, it made my skin crawl, especially after learning about the history of this officer, who has moved from police department to police department at least 17 times in 11 years. He can't keep a job for more than a year before he is terminated or resigns and moves to a new area, which is a huge red flag and a clue that this is a bad cop. And with everything that I was seeing on social media, some true and some not true, I decided I needed to dig into this myself. And so in this video, we're going to look at body cam footage and state police interviews. We're going to go to the crime scene with the family and talk to their private investigator who gave me access to his case file. Here's what I know. This all began in November of 2024 when 15-year-old Trip Brazil and some friends were riding their ATVs on a rural county road where they are legally allowed to ride. A few St. Francis County sheriff deputies happened to be in the area looking for 2 other younger juveniles around 10 years old who happened to be reported missing at the time. The deputies hear the ATVs ride by on what they believe to be a side street that isn't a county road, which prompted the deputies to go in that direction to speak with the teenagers. The first deputy to make contact with the ATV riders was Sergeant Kenny. When Sergeant Kenny pulls up to talk to the riders, 15-year-old Trip Brazil takes off, but then stops, and Sergeant Kenny does not chase him. So Trip Brazil immediately starts to come back towards the deputy until the second deputy arrives on scene, Alvin Trey Bynum. When Bynum pulls up, Trip takes off again, and this time Deputy Bynum chases him. Before we get into the chase, I want to talk about the legality of the stop. I do believe the deputies had the authority to detain the ATV riders, but it's not clear if they were ever actually detained. Sergeant Kenny makes statements in interviews and on body cam that he only wanted to talk to the teens and that he would not have chased Trip if Deputy Bynum didn't initiate the chase.
We don't know if they're racing because we never seen them. Correct. All I know is there was a loud rolling, and he was rolling through that neighborhood.
As soon as he seen the other deputy, he took off.
So
I'm not letting my deputy go out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night chasing the unknown.
no, we gotta back our people. I'm not letting my guys go by themselves either.
So if I had just 2 or 3 minutes, somebody would have talked to me, told me who it was.
One of the 4-wheelers took off, looked over his shoulder. I said, "Where's he going?" One of the kids popped up and said, "We don't know, sir." We come back by and he was approaching, he was slowing down like he was going to stop. Well, I was unaware that my 2 deputies that were with me, I thought they went out the other way, but one of them come up behind me, pulled up beside me, and as the kid on the 4-wheeler was approaching, he took off. Then the pursuit was on. I wasn't going to let my guy chase the unknown out in the middle of nowhere, and I never did catch up with them till after they were stopped.
Yeah, so I was just going to talk to them and ask them where they were going, and while they were running through the...
And then Deputy Bynum makes statements to the state police that the only reason he chased Trip was because he thought Trip was running from Deputy Kenny, and that he did not initiate his lights or sirens until after Trip already took off.
Come up 3 at 313 to back up Sergeant Kenny. and that's when the four-wheeler had taken off from him, and the four-wheeler turned around and come past us at a high rate of speed. I initiated my blue lights and my audible siren to make a traffic stop on the four-wheeler, and then that's when the chase began.
The reason why you was fleeing him, you was chasing him, was because it appeared to you he was fleeing from David Kinney.
Yes, sir.
And do you know why David Kinney even stopped him, or was he just doing a welfare check on him? Was there a reason for him to stop him? Was he on a road that wasn't supposed to have no four-wheelers?
It was on Highway 284 and in the area of that neighborhood that we was on. We were driving at erratic speeds and obnoxiously. Late at night, Highway 284. There's a lot of peers, a lot of people driving through there at that time. You know, some of them's intoxicated and stuff like that.
So give me your reason for chasing him. I want to make sure I understood your reason.
I initiated the blue lights and the sirens for the four-wheeler to stop, and it didn't stop.
Okay. What was the probable cause, I guess what I'm trying to say?
The excessive speeds and
you understand what I'm saying?
on the highways.
Yeah. Did you clock him on radar?
No, sir.
No, I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying?
No,
So it's very possible that Tripp took off from a consensual encounter and then Bynum chased him. The chase starts at 12:40 a.m. You can hear Tripp's ATV exhaust as if it is inside the truck with Deputy Bynum. It is very loud on camera, indicating that Bynum is right on Tripp's tail while they do speeds of 70 miles an hour. I can only assume that if Tripp were to suddenly stop, it would be catastrophic. The chase ends at 12:43 a.m. when Tripp's ATV becomes disabled.
Get on the ground!
15-year-old Tripp then abandons his four-wheeler and jumps over a fence and disappears into the woods.
Hey, you racked out, I got the four-wheeler.
Just moments later, Sergeant Kinney arrives on scene and then leaves immediately to go get a trailer to impound the ATV.
I need the trailer because I'm telling them.
And something I haven't mentioned yet is Deputy Bynum has a ride-along with him and should not have pursued a chase with a ride-along in the car. The ride-along, Preston Cox, can be seen getting out of the vehicle at 12:45 a.m.
You good?
I'm kind of highly thinking about doing this shit now. I knew we was going to go airborne though. I just had to.
You sure you good?
Yeah, I'm good though. I'm good.
At 12:46 a.m., Bynum is seen touching the four-wheeler bare-handed with no gloves. At 12:47 a.m., Preston Cox touches the four-wheeler with his bare hands.
Trying to find a game play for this bike.
Should be over there.
Sorry about that, bro.
Man, you good, dog. I promise you ain't bothering me.
12:50 a.m., Preston Cox whispers something to Bynum after asking about his body cam.
Huh? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, this step road pretty messed up. Got the bike. All that matters.
And then at 12:51, Bynum shuts off his body cam. At 12:59 a.m., an anonymous call comes into the sheriff's office to identify the boy that they're looking for as Tripp Brazil and to let them know that he's hiding behind the church. Then at 1:21 a.m., Tripp calls his parents to come get him. His parents tell him to stop running and to turn around and turn himself in. And according to his parents, Tripp told them that he was walking towards the blue lights up the hill. About 20 minutes go by and there's still no sign of Tripp. Now 1:40 a.m., Bynum turns his body cam back on, and he's now wearing black latex gloves. Less than a minute later, at 1:41 a.m., Gil Brazil, Tripp's dad, receives a text from Tripp's phone, which is later referred to as the suicide text. But many people are very skeptical of this text, and we will get into that later. But in the moment, Tripp's parents respond to the text and tell him that they're on their way to come get him. At 1:42 a.m., Sergeant Kinney, Deputy Bynum, and Preston Cox are all pushing the four-wheeler onto the trailer, and they make comments about knowing who Tripp is.
Is this what Tripp's got? I hadn't seen him on one. I've seen him on the Honda.
At 1:43 a.m., Bynum gets tow straps out from the back of his truck. Then, at 1:43 a.m., Bynum shuts off his body cam. Around 1:49 a.m., Tripp's parents arrive on scene where his phone last pinged by the church, but nobody is there, not even the deputies. According to Bynum's police report, around 2:15 or after, Deputy Bynum says he continued to work leads on the first two missing juveniles they were looking for earlier, until about 3:45 a.m., when he met back up with Sergeant Kinney.
When y'all got the four-wheeler loaded up, y'all took it back.
Get to the sheriff's department.
And where'd you go after that?
And then we got another call about the two missing juveniles in Cross County. We had gotten another location to look for.
Y'all went to that?
Yes, sir.
Then at 3:58 a.m., Deputy Bynum activates his body cam one more time at the jail to ask a jailer where Tripp is, and he makes comments about Tripp running out of his shoes.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union was born and raised here in Maine, and like Mainers, we're built on grit and a lot of gumption. We know your name, we know your story, because real community starts by knowing one another. Visit us today and experience the Dirigo difference.
Last week, Todd posted this.
I had a dream that I drank a can of cola.
That's the whole dream. At DreamCloud, we produce better dreams. So allow us to help with your...
No, man, you've been boys for a while.
Yeah, what's up?
Tell me the truth.
What's the truth?
You know where Tripp is?
I ain't got a fucking clue what Tripp is.
Don't lie to me, bro.
I've been trying to find Tripp my damn self trying to get the fuck home.
Because right now,
I'll tell you this.
listen to me, hold on. Listen to me.
Right.
I'm not being a dick when I say this. It's raining.
It's raining?
He's raining out of his shoes. He's 14 years old.
Yeah.
And nobody's seen him or heard him.
So here's what I know.
I'm thinking he might be hurt. That's why I need to know.
I understand that. That's why I've been fucking on the phone trying to get people to find him and get him the fuck home. Right? I know y'all looking for him. And if y'all want him, Gil's out there looking for him too. Gil don't have a problem.
I know.
Police coming with him to get him.
Gil is already out there.
Right.
Kenny's already out there with Gil.
Here's what I know. Where his last known location was out there where 409 splits, right? You know, Snapchat, his live location or whatever, he had his own. He's right there in the fucking middle, is where his phone's at. Other than that, nobody's seen him. I know he ran out of his boots, and his phone's been there. Hold up, let me go grab my phone. Because I'm just as worried as y'all are about him being hurt.
I know.
The whole run shit, that's true. But him being hurt, knowing he ain't got his shoes
And it's raining.
and normally he calls somebody to come get him. SOC 409 goes two ways. He's right, that's where he was 3 hours ago. I'm sure that's where he left the four-wheelers right there over there and took off running. Or at the end of this dead-end road, one or the other. But that's where he was last time. But nobody has heard from him. I've called Landon. I've called my buddy Peyton. Fucking Landon called me asking if Tripp was up here. Peyton, I told them let me know if he finds him. I told them I'd let them know if he comes up here or whatever, but nobody's heard from him. Some kid named was the last person I heard from him. He's who Tripp told he ran out of his boots, and then after that, ghost.
The phone's off. It's either dead or he turned it off.
Yeah, or he lost it and hit the water or something. But
my main concern is if he's hurt.
yeah, I mean, the way y'all said he jumped the
Yeah,
ball,
his dumbass ran from the police.
yeah, which if Trey, like you said, we're some boys from them. If I knew where he was, I wouldn't fucking say it. I understand that he's a little, it's like a little brother to me. Just like I told Casey.
14 years old, I mean.
I got told Casey to walk in. It's like a little brother to me. I got his back like I have my little brother's back. But in this situation, I'd tell you where my little brother was. If I knew where Tripp was, I'd tell you. And if I still don't find him by the time I get off at 7, I'm headed to work 409 splits.
Alright, well, I'm headed back out there. If you hear anything, let me know.
At 4:02 a.m., Bynum shuts off his body cam and does not turn it back on. He then reportedly heads back out to the scene to help the search. Around 4:20 a.m., the Sheriff's Department requests the Forest City Fire Department to come out with their drones, and they show up about 4:40. At 5:12 a.m., the Sheriff's Department requests the Arkansas Game and Fish to come out with their drones as well. And the drones that were used had heat signature cameras, or thermal imaging, but were unable to locate Tripp the entire time. Tripp's first boot and hat were found around 6 or 7 a.m., about 30 or 40 yards from the fence where he first entered the woods. At 7:20, the tracking dogs arrived and numerous volunteers who were split into search parties. Then, about 1:30 p.m., about 700 yards away across the road, his second boot is found, along with his wallet, his cell phone charger, his hoodie, and a footprint. Then the next day at 1:08 p.m., about 1.2 miles away from where they found his second boot and cell phone and footprint, they find another footprint 1.2 miles away. This eventually leads them to Tripp, where they found him at 4:05 p.m. hanging in a tree. In the days and weeks to come, both Arkansas State Police and a private investigator hired by the family from Presidium conducted interviews with individuals involved in the incident. And I just want to share a few clips from these interviews for context.
Did the mother or dad did any of them talk to you that allude to that he may be suicidal or anything?
No, sir.
You never got any of that sense or anything?
No, sir. You know, and he sent his mom a text, and she showed me the text talking about that he was a screw-up, not that they were, not that they were bad parents, but he couldn't do this anymore, and he was apologizing for being a screw-up. I mean, and I've been up here 3 years, and I've never heard any law enforcement involvement with his name.
How you spell?
A-L-B-I-N.
Bynum? Why do they call you Trey?
I'm a third.
Did you have any dealings with that kid?
I personally have not. The only times that I know of that he ran from the other deputy, which is Cedric Hicks, his reserve deputy, he ran straight to his house. I don't know if you called Trooper Smith or not, but I was actually on his personal team that was searching for him. I was actually there the whole entire time trying to help search for him.
Right now, I'm on both sides of the ball. I understand everything that the family's done. I understand everything they're saying. I understand that. I 100% get that, because like you said, at the end of the day, they lost a loved one, they lost a son. I hate that it ended that way. I really do. But there was nothing, I couldn't have done anything in my power to change what happened without getting Mr. Bynum in trouble, I mean, it's just that simple, because I'm a ride-along, and that's, at the end of the day, that's it, and that's all I was,
Tripp Brazil's body is found hanging in a tree almost 2 miles from where he first left his ATV and went into the woods. The autopsy photos showed Tripp with the ligature still around his neck, but in my opinion it looks like the bruising is lower on the neck than where the ligature is. And the ligature around his neck happens to be a toe strap, very similar to the ones that Bynum had in the back of his truck. Also, Tripp's feet had no cuts, scratches, or scrapes, and I saw the photos myself. They looked perfect, which is remarkable considering the distance he traveled in the woods with no shoes. His feet not having any scrapes or scratches is one of the most mind-boggling things to me in this case, if he in fact walked all that way with no shoes in the woods in the dark. However, solely based off the text message, the examiner ruled Tripp's death a suicide. But the locals, well, they think otherwise, and a lot of truth and rumors begin to spread, resulting in Deputy Bynum eventually leaving the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department for the safety of him and his family, or so he claims. Now, a year and a half later, everyone still wants answers, but law enforcement are ignoring their requests for another investigation. Tripp's father hires a private investigator, and he decides to run for sheriff of St. Francis County. However, the current sheriff, Bobby May, has an idea up his sleeve to stir the pot, and that is to bring Alvin Trey Bynum back to the St. Francis County Sheriff's Office and hold a press conference to the press and the public to essentially rub it in everyone's nose.
These answers, who's many out here to please identify? Sydney World Afternoon 5, like Suriani, Lieutenant Colonel.
Hillary Trinity, Times Herald newspaper.
ABC 24, Ronald.
The Random Patriot.
Troy Sprint with Fox 13 Memphis.
The people who are telling these blasphemous lies said, or saying, that Trey Bynum got out of his car, chased him down, found some kind of rope or something, hung the boy. Now, how ridiculous and absurd can you get? When I first heard these comments, my thoughts were, nobody's going to believe that. And boy, was I wrong. Apparently, there's a lot of idiots out there who believe crap like that.
Then why did he call his mom and come pick him up?
Why did he say Bradshaw? He saw Bradshaw's car he was walking to turn himself in. Why did Bynum have rubber gloves on at 1:47 and that text come in at 1:45?
Or why does Bynum's wife say, Trey is my husband, and Trey stopped him on the four-wheeler at 1:15 that morning and asked him to stop driving stupid, that he was going to get hurt. For him to be careful, he jumped off the four-wheeler and started running. So I'm not sure where the 145 came from, honestly, but Trey has been looking for him nonstop. His boots and phone were found. But before he took off running, he looked at Trey and said, I can't get in trouble. Trey told him he wasn't in trouble and took off running, but the whole time he was looking around, my husband thinks he was in trouble. In the body cam footage, it shows no conversation between them two. So he fabricated a lie to his wife?
Did Bobby know that he was chasing a 15-year-old child?
Yes, he knew.
This little dude over here knew it because it's on video.
Here's my question. How can you go a mile and 3/4 through Crow Creek and not have a scratch, barefoot, and not have a scratch on your feet?
It's amazing to me, I'm listening to you all.
There's a lot of unanswered questions.
Well, it's amazing to me, I'm listening to you all, and none of y'all have minutes investigating.
We can't hear you. We don't think you do either. 49 minutes the body cam was turned on.
I'm getting ready to answer that question for you.
Okay.
And we have listen to me. Body cameras eat up batteries.
No, they last 12 hours.
Wait a minute. They eat up batteries. So we have a policy when deputies are not intertwined or intermingling with other people, they are to cut their body cameras off.
He was on an
and
active
save the
scene.
batteries.
Even when a child is missing, you turn it off.
I'd like to finish my press conference and get up and ask all the questions you're going to ask. I have with me
Could at least acknowledge
Trey
the
Bynum,
timing is a little
and I have
strange.
with me
With no
Preston
implications,
Cox.
but yeah, I
Trey
agree, it is strange.
And
Right? Let's do
Preston
that.
never got out of the car when Tripp jumped over the fence
Listen to what he has
and
to
went
say.
in the woods.
It's in bike. He jumped out, wanted his service with that, told him to get on the
If
ground.
you're somebody liar, you're a liar, probably.
How am I a liar? What I'm saying is, they did not get into the woods. That's what I'm saying.
You said they didn't get out of the vehicle.
Well, they got out of the vehicle. What I'm saying is, they did not go into the woods.
It could have been so different, Bobby. It didn't have to be like this.
You know what? I wish it had gone different. I regret the young boy that killed himself.
He didn't kill himself. He did not kill himself.
Let us drop a little bit of
Jesus. Now I'm going to ask, Preston,
All right,
would you come
he
up
has no
here?
way of knowing that, where the body can know it, right?
You
No
don't
one
mind.
knows that except who was there. He's standing in
Preston is a fine young man. Would you, he works out at White Motor Company, would you tell your story, please? Just start out with your story.
Tell us what happened that night, that's all.
They were looking for two missing juveniles, and we were out there, and Mr. David Kenny and Trey heard some four-wheelers coming through, and they were being pretty loud. You know, you could probably tell they was riding just a little aggressive. And Mr. David Kenny said that he was going to make contact with them and tell them to go home, that it was too late for them to be out riding around. And Mr. David Kenny went up there and made contact with them. Me and Trey come up, and we pulled up there next to him, and Tripp come through. And then at first I thought he was going to stop, and then he threw his hands up and took back off. And that's when the pursuit began.
What did you mean when you spoke to Cody, that you told him that there wasn't nothing you could do or nothing you could say without getting Mr. Alvin, Trey, Murrow, whatever his name, in trouble? What did you mean by that?
When I told him that if he would have played the whole thing and not just cut this section out, I told him there was nothing that I could have done. Like I couldn't have got out of the truck and chased him, or I couldn't have, done anything in like that situation to change the outcome of it.
without getting him in trouble. Why would that have gotten him in trouble?
Because I'm not allowed to, ride-alongs are not allowed to color the vehicle.
And I spoke directly with Arkansas State Police. They said there was no law requiring deputies or anybody to pull over four-wheelers in the county. Is that true?
On county roads.
Right.
State highways is different. There is a law.
Yes, I
They're
understand.
not allowed on state highways at any time.
But this was a chase on a county road.
He'd been on the state highway.
He had been on the state highway.
Yes.
To get to point A to point B, so that was illegal enough to stop him.
No,
We
it's
didn't
not.
know
You can
who
go
this
to
kid
point A
was.
to point
We had
B on a
no
state
idea.
highway to get to a county road. That is the law.
I'm going to ask Trey to stand up here and say if he wants to speak.
My name's Alvin Bynum. I was the deputy involved. I just want to say that I knew nothing about who the individual was on full until after the fact. Sergeant Bradshaw made the phone call to the parents. I also want to state that I had no wrongdoing whatsoever with this individual. I've done my job, and that was all. I was cleared by the Arkansas State Police. I was cleared by the Arkansas State Police Crime Lab and the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department and any other agency that was involved. I have received death threats and any other threat from family, friends, and everyone else for the last 2 years almost. And it is ridiculous.
So why do you want to go back?
Yes, that's what we want to know.
I was called back, to be honest with you.
I've got a question for you. The next morning, why was you rolling around in the fetal position in the grass?
Sam,
I was not.
Why me, why me, why me?
I was not.
Yes, you were.
that was solved by a deputy.
And it is wrote in paper.
No,
Yes,
sir, it was
you
not.
were.
If you were called back, why wouldn't you say, I don't think that it is right for anyone in this county, seeing how none of us feel comfortable with you being here to protect and service because we do not feel like we're going to protect and service.
Because you're all led by a bunch of lies and misinformation. That's why you don't understand or
Yeah, there's
feel that
been,
you're
I know, a
protected.
good handful of
Officer
different
Bynum,
ones
you
that have
have
been
a
talking
pretty
about this one for
lengthy
at
history
least 6 months.
with the Mark Tree PD and how you treated that rape victim.
There was a lie for one,
Yeah,
for
it's
two it was a
quite a few
write-up.
channels.
Never reprimanded, never termination, never suspension, never nothing.
But do you feel like your actions in that case were
Didn't I just state that it was a
without
lie?
integrity? What about your integrity? That's what we question. Do you really want to put the St. Francis County citizens at first and foremost, or is it the property you're after?
It's every citizen.
Every citizen. Because right now, every citizen, for the most part, have no confidence in you. We don't believe that you can protect and service properly without judgment.
That's perfectly
Based
fine.
on your past, 12 agencies in 10 years, you bounce around, and we still can't figure out why you would even want to come back to St. Francis County. You left because you said you did not feel safe. What makes you feel
I
safe
left
now?
to try to better my family, which I was led and followed.
Why would you want to go there if you're being so threatened and all this going on? Why would you want to come back?
Because there's nothing else I know how to do.
When your body camera went off, did it go off because the battery was dead?
No ma'am, it was turned off.
When it came back on, why did you have gloves on?
Because I was moving the forward.
You had already touched it, you both had already touched the forward, hundreds and hundreds of times.
Before the body
With
cam
no
came
gloves.
off, you
So why
both
was
were
the
touching
glove
it
on?
barehanded.
Because I was moving the forward and putting on the trailer.
It's on your own body cam footage.
Okay ma'am.
Have you watched it?
I watched it for the first time since it happened last month.
Well, you didn't watch, we didn't pay very close attention.
I watched the true body camera footage.
Oh, there's two. Oh, there's
The true body camera footage. I watched.
I want to see the true one too.
Can you repeat what you said? You said you turned the body camera footage off, and what were you doing when you turned it off? That's just what I wanted.
Sitting there waiting on, I was sitting back there to wait on Sergeant Keeney to bring the trailer back for the forward.
So you never left that scene the whole time?
No sir, not until Sergeant Keeney brought the trailer back and then we took the forward.
But the fake body cam footage that we saw.
So you-
It's fake.
The one that you're
So
seeing,
there's
yes.
just fake people of you and him in the video. It's all fake.
The one that you're seeing, yes.
Okay, the whole purpose of this was to show y'all Number one, that this young man was not chased after in the woods by Deputy Biden.
I watched that man chasing him by my house. He had to come in my yard to get away from me.
Terrified. And when I told him, why are you terrified? He said, because this man told me he was going to kill me.
Deputy Bynum, had you ever pursued Trip Brazil before that night?
You're a liar.
No, sir, I'm not.
You're a liar.
No, sir, I'm not.
There's been so many lies told.
Shut
No,
up.
I'm telling you about some people in this group.
I ain't lying. I sat there and watched him chase that boy by my house.
And who are you?
I'll give you my ID. I don't care. I'm George Davis.
Who are you?
George Davis. I live in Caldwell. I have watched him chase that boy by my house.
Where's your house at?
In Caldwell. You know where it's at.
Correct. Because I never chased that young man whatsoever.
You know what you did.
Do you understand why, how many people are in here that are against us? I'm not even going to ask that. Why we are all uncomfortable? Do you understand? Do you understand why we will continue? We will continue. We won't stop until he does not work for our department anymore.
We don't
Do
really.
you understand? Yes or no? It's a yes or no.
He's ready to leave. So the bin was checked the next day. The four-wheeler was stolen out of Texas off a Honda dealership. Yeah, I know, you went, that's part of the deal. You went and paid for it.
Part of the deal was if y'all didn't do your job, the four-wheeler wasn't took out of ACIC.
The only reason you weren't charged with possession of the stolen four-wheeler is because of the sympathy we had to lose.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
The reason he didn't arrest me because it was not turned into ACIC. The four-wheeler was stolen brand new, 2 of them, out of a dealership in Texas, and they was never turned into ACIC. And you know that as well as anybody, Bob.
We're not dealing, you know, the fact is, it's so absurd. It's so absurd.
$12:47 Later, Sergeant Kinney arrives on scene and then leaves immediately to go get a trailer to impound the ATV.
I'll take the trailer because I'm telling no.
And something I haven't mentioned yet is Deputy Bynum has a ride-along with him and should not have pursued a chase with a ride-along in the car. The ride-along, Preston Cox, can be seen getting out of the vehicle at 12:45 a.m.
You good? I'm kind of highly thinking about doing this shit now. I knew we was going to go airborne, though. You sure you're good? Yeah, I'm good, though.
At 12:46 a.m., Bynum is seen touching the four-wheeler barehanded with no gloves. At 12:47 a.m., Preston Cox touches the four-wheeler with his bare hands.
Trying to find Ben place this bike. Should be over there. Sorry about that, bro. You good, bro. I promise you ain't bothering me.
12:50 a.m., Preston Cox whispers something to Bynum after asking about his body cam.
Huh? Yeah, I'm okay. Hey, this step road pretty messed up. Got a plate.
The work that they do and making a focal point of the Senate campaign when he's really not doing anything to promote the industries that, you know, they rely on to live.
Now, did you ever, obviously we don't want to breach any off-the-record agreements, but have we gotten to the bottom of why he doesn't even find his mom's restaurant?
Well,
I think he has, Steve. If you look at the Instagram, then he's always there. He's at the oyster stand while he's there, if he's not just drinking there.
Yeah, I mean, emptying out the liquor bottles
that you can possibly live in.
26 emperors were murdered in a period of 50 years.
Yes. It's tremendous instability.
Almost all were of these emperors were generals, and almost all were murdered by their men. So civil war was the norm, hyperinflation, economic crash, plus there's a plague. It's just a lot of chaos.
Here's why I don't think the Eastern Roman Empire is a military dictatorship. Even though, again, the emperors control the armies, and the armies themselves will often have a say in who becomes emperor, like through the civil wars that we mentioned. The reason why I don't think it's a military dictatorship is because they almost never, very, very, very rarely, use the army as an instrument of social control. Sometimes these eunuchs were extremely competent, like Narcissus Justinian's general, who defeated the Goths in Italy in this massive battle. Like, this guy was a total hard-ass. He was this little old man. He was very old, he was tiny, and he was a eunuch, and the Goths laughed at him, but he had the last laugh.
The old fire station here in Plymouth wasn't safe for our firefighters or our community.
Susan Collins secured funding to renovate and rebuild 45 fire stations all across Maine.
When Susan Collins helped us rebuild, it made our community safer.
The following is a conversation with Anthony Caldelis, a historian of the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. To support it, please check out our sponsors in the description, where you can also find links to contact me, ask questions, give feedback, and so on. And now, dear friends, here's Anthony Caldelis. You've described that the Byzantine Empire is the Roman Empire, that calling it the Byzantine Empire is an invention of historians writing long after the empire has collapsed, that the people of that time considered themselves Romans, and that the so-called Byzantine Empire never actually existed, that it was, in every legal and cultural sense, the Roman Empire, continuing unbroken. So, let's get our terms right.